Yeah.
You still got a little bit of work to do on tuning that sucker, but it's a 12 string, so I'm not going to
Yeah,
fight
I
you.
tuned the hell out of it today. Actually, that's should have heard it earlier.
Hey guys, Chris Pesek, broker associate at Pesek Properties, Dripping Springs home team, here with my good buddy Stephen Babcock at CMG Financial. I almost said your old company again. And
Yeah, it's all
hopefully,
right. It's all good. You used to say the Babcock like mortgage company or something. That was even
yeah, I don't
worse.
know. Yeah, it was.
Stop.
It was. That was
It's not
pretty bad.
accurate.
And hopefully, Steven's new work partner at CMG is going to be joining us here shortly as well. But guys, it is a little after 5. It is November 14th, 2022, and it's time for some after hours real estate. Like we always start, Mr. Babcock, what you drinking, buddy?
I am drinking a Yingling this evening, my
Oh,
friend.
is it a
I
Yingling?
wish
Oh,
this thing would actually can't turn the light down anymore than it's
focus.
already.
Oh, and that's a legit heavy Yingling. That's not a Yingling light. Nice.
No,
I
no,
like
just
it.
traditional lager. Yeah, we're good.
Heck
It's delicious.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
man. So you know me, it's a little bit chilly and it's been rainy today. So I am all in on the whiskey. Little bit of Jameson. I've been digging my Irish whiskey lately for some reason.
It
So
has been rainy.
cheers,
Where
buddy.
I grew up, cheers, brother. Where I grew up, you didn't really like the rain that much. It was, it wasn't that it was bad or anything. We didn't
Yeah.
dislike it, but it wasn't like, annoying. Um, it's a different feeling when it rains here. It's almost like, thank God, we need the rain, and the allergies are terrible until it rains, and it's
Until it
like
rains and then it washes them out.
it's almost like biblical when it rains
It
here.
is.
I
It
don't know
is.
what it is.
It was awesome. This morning was great. A little bit of rain. I'm sitting down, drinking my coffee, reading a little bit, and man, it was a good day. Um, okay, so I'm going to kick us off with first of all, if you are watching, guys, if y'all have got questions, throw them in the comments. It's about a 3-second delay, but we'll see them, and or comments, or tell us we're morons. It doesn't matter. Just pop it in the comments because it's a lot easier to talk about things in the comments than just
Hold
to
off
come
on
up with
that
stuff
comment,
off of
but
our
yeah,
head.
yeah,
Well, that's
it
fine.
works.
So far, we have not been morons. We have been right way more times than we have been incorrect. Or mistaken, I should say. But no, I was reading an article today. Are you aware of Lawrence Yun? Does that name sound familiar?
Say the last name again.
Yun, Y-U-N.
I don't believe so.
He is the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors.
Oh, okay.
So his job is to follow housing markets and everything else. And so Mr. Yoon said today that basically, if rates do not jump above 7% in 2023, then he's projecting nationally that we will have about a 1% increase in house values in the United States. So I did
Wait,
not
that was a
say
big if at the beginning. You said if
it's
rates
a
don't
it's a
increase, but they're already over 7%. You mean the base rate, the
base
lending
rate,
rate,
base
fund rate?
rate, base rate.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
which
that's
is right
okay.
now around that's right now around 6,
What? No.
isn't it? I was just reading bank rate.
Well, now we're talking about two different things.
Wait a
Are we
minute.
talking about the Fed funds rate, or are we talking about mortgage rates?
Thought he was saying mortgage rates. Did he say Fed funds rate? Now I gotta look. Gosh dog it. Hang on.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'll explain the difference.
Yeah, go for it.
The Fed funds rate is the rate at which banks lend money from
No, okay.
amongst one another. So a bank lends to another bank, or if a bank borrows from the Fed. The mortgage rate is what you get from the bank that is then paying back the Fed, right? So they're going to pay usually much less than what you pay, and that's what are we sharing? Okay, great, good. So
Yep. And
you're
so I
sharing.
was right. It is mortgage rates. Gosh dog it. I just had it. Where is it now? Come on. It's NAR.
So somebody else in the waiting room too? What is that? Is that
Oh, there
that's
it is. Yeah, that's another screen. So won't experience a major decline, could possibly rise slightly if mortgage rates remain at 7, or if they remain at 7%. Okay. So that was the whole thing. Yeah, that's a big if, But what have they been doing lately? They've been bouncing around and, like you said last week, kind of staying normal. So the major thing, and I was going to get your thoughts on this. Okay. He expects sales to decline, um, home sales to decline 7%, while the median home price will increase by 1, with some markets experience price gains and others, price declines. Okay, yeah, that's basically saying a stable market. But this is the big one. He also projects a strong rebound for 2024 with a
Good.
10% in home sales and a 5% increase in median home price. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I love that some YouTubers will do entire videos on articles like that. But you say the article, and the first thing I think of is read between the lines. And what they really said was, if things calm down and get back to normal, then this is what you could expect in the future. And things are not calming
Well,
down; they're not getting back to normal.
but wait a minute. I would not call 7% rates normal.
Well, what they mean is when the
Maybe
volatility
historically,
stops moving.
maybe, but okay.
So I don't know. I at the end of the day, good luck with predictions on this stuff, right?
Fair.
We can kind of just see the direction it's going in, and that's about it. I don't know that anyone else can really be that accurate. And you know what? Great, good. That'd be awesome. That'd be really good. I've been hearing that Austin should start taking off right around February. And okay, good, great. That sounds good too. Let's that sounds good. But why, right? And what else is happening? And what's going on?
Which is
I
what
mean,
we
my
typically
Lord,
talk about.
I did this video on Friday that I send out to the realtors that I work with, and it's really just a quick market update so they know what they're talking about. I send it to you too, so you know what you're talking about if a client asks you. I don't expect
Yeah.
everybody to follow the market like Nerd Steve over here does, right? So I'll just update you on Fridays, right? And if you want me to add you to the list, I'm happy to just put it in the comment section.
That's right.
Give me your email address. But so I send that out. And this Friday, as I was looking up some of the facts for the video, right, and just looking up some of the, just some of the numbers. There's like the numbers on I go to these web pages that have the numbers, and then to the right of it, there's like a news feed, right?
Yeah.
And this news feed says the market was stagnant last week and it wasn't volatile at all. So, well, okay, great. So I look at the market, which I knew that was wrong. I looked at the market, and the day prior to Thursday. By the way, this article was fresh. It was like 2 or 3 hours old.
Wow.
And maybe you watched the video or whatever that I sent out, right? But
I did.
It was it was a really brand new article. It couldn't have been more hot off the press. So it's supposed to have accurate information, right? And brother, we had the most volatile day since April.
I was gonna say there was a lot of volatility last week.
It just blows my mind how wrong journalists can be, and it's not like there's repercussions for this stuff,
No.
Well, at least not if you're a journalist.
So that brings up a valid point. Anyway, man, we're going, but that's fine. I say this on a lot of my market update videos that in today's social media driven society, social proof society, and I was just watching a YouTube thing, and the exact quote was, "Be clickbaity on your thumbnails." And that's what everybody's doing. They're trying to generate clicks because that's where revenue is done. And so for the reporters, they don't have to do any research. They just have to get clicks on the article, generate some outrage so people share it and go, "This guy's an idiot." And then it gets more shares and more revenue. And so that's what it is. I mean, let's just be honest.
I don't really mind the clickbait too much unless it doesn't show me what I'm clicking on, right? So my kid's all about boats and different kinds of boats. And sometimes I'll click on a picture of this video of 12 different motors in the back of a boat. And I'm like, okay, my kid loves how many engines there are or motors, whatever. Let's just see what this looks like. And it's not one of the top 10, the top 10, whatever, fastest boats in the world. And it's not even there. And it's like, well, come on. The whole time we're looking for this one boat. We're waiting for it. It's awful. It worked. I mean, it works.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. They got the click and they generated ad revenue. That's where I'm going with that. Like with these articles, you got to make sure that you're getting news from a non-clickbait article source. Like, again, NAR, I know it's going to be slanted a little bit towards real estate and real estate doing well. That's fine. You pay attention to your sources. But again, Lawrence Yun is well respected, and to have him as your chief economist, that's kind of a big deal. But regardless, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. And I mean, do you see that? So let's say if rates stay generally right around 7, okay, how do you feel about some markets going up? I would assume that Central Texas would be a market that would go up because of all the pent up demand here now. But what are your thoughts?
I was thinking about this the other day. We will both say the same answer, but for the sake of being on the show, when did the market slow down?
May to June.
I would say June. Rates were being raised before then.
Absolutely.
Quite a bit until then. I wouldn't even say there's a direct correlation. Indirect, yes, but not a direct correlation between rates and the market slowdown. In fact, the reasons we were talking about on the prior show to buy right now, where you don't have to bring 100,000, you can actually negotiate. You are now in control. All the things people wished for last year,
right,
are still there. Those are strong reasons to buy.
Yeah.
And as the rate keeps going up, you still have strong reasons to buy. I think what's really happened is more of a herd mentality than an actual economic, outcome.
Oh, absolutely. And again, that goes back to news articles and stuff they're seeing on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely herd mentality. What was the? I can't think of the term, and I'm not going to talk about where where it came from. But yeah, it's mass hysteria psychosis. Isn't that what it is?
There's plenty of different terms for that.
Yeah. Or mass psychosis or something.
It's just call like it FOMO and move on. Yeah.
There you go, FOMO. There. Yeah.
Right. So, same thing, right? It's at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. That's a good point. And I think what I said a couple of months ago, or maybe it was in October, was what we need is about 6 weeks to 3 months for everything to kind of settle and for everybody to go, oh, wait, the world's not burning down. Nothing major has happened. And then people will kind of go, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and wade back into the market. And I think we're going to see a little bit of that in December. I think we're going to see a little bit more of that in March, like we normally do, because like I've been telling everybody again, I think we're going back to a real normal market where Dripping Springs, Texas appreciates 2 to 4% a year. Austin, Texas appreciates 3 to 5.
You are correct. There's a general panic amongst the realtor and lending community about the state of the market right now. And that panic is then spread to clients. And, maybe not through everybody, but a great deal of them. And the reality is that right now we live in a balanced market, but an unbalanced realtor and lender market.
Oh, 100%. There's way too many realtors and lenders.
Right. We are oversaturated with lenders and realtors. Therefore, they're all panicking at a balanced market.
Yeah.
There will be a mass exodus, I do believe, in the next.
It's already started.
Not 3 weeks. I'm sorry, but January 1st, we're going to see a lot of renewals just not be renewed or put on the on the sidelines.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, by the way, little update on what we were talking about last Monday with that client that I had bidding builders against each other.
Oh man, I used that as an example all last week. I thought that was so brilliant. Yes.
So I'll tell you the results. My client is under contract for $50,000 less. It was listed at $375,000. We're under at $325,000. Whoa. Oh no. But if you act now, he got 6% in closing concessions.
What?
$19,000 and a guaranteed 5.5% interest rate. So if you don't think it's a good time to buy a brand new stinking house right now, because what was happening 1 year ago with that same property, Stephen? It was
I'm
listed at
sorry.
375 and getting bid up over 400.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking 5.5% interest rate. That's where rates were for most of my career in the last 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
People only remember the good rates. I mean, that was
Yeah.
a normal rate for quite a few years.
Our first house was 7.25.
Yeah. In fact, that was actually quite a good rate.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm not sure I'd be able to get someone that rate today. That's
Well, it was one of the things that you had told me about, and I didn't realize what it was, where builders are buying these giant tranches of interest rates. So yeah, I didn't know it existed. And that, I'm telling you, that was the exact words out of the lender's mouth. We've bought all of these interest rates. So there you go, buddy.
What that means for most people that aren't aware of what they're talking about is that instead of going out and getting, a mortgage for the Joneses, and they need $437,000 to complete their purchase on their 600 whatever $1,000 home, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of that, they go to a bank and they say, you know what, we're doing so many mortgages. What we'd like to do is get 80 million, or let's do 100 million in just a credit line. We'll borrow at a certain percentage rate. You can give it to us all at one time. I'm sure we'll use it in the future. And then they lend at that credit line at the rate they choose. No, not every bank can afford to do this.
No, these are large lenders.
That's what they were doing. So
how do you like a 17% reduction plus a 6% boost and a guaranteed interest rate? How do you like that?
What is that in total off the original price, I wonder?
Well, it's 17 and 6, 23 plus whatever the buy down is, so it's north of 25%.
I would say at least 25%.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, last year at this time, that same house would have sold for over 400,000 with zero concessions.
And they would have been angry about paying you your commission too. I bet you got a good commission.
And they would
for a higher commission too.
They're bumping me an extra point.
Yes.
For doing my job.
I mean, for those watching at home, do you understand that's like 30% from the seller that they're giving up overall? Yep. Actually, probably a little more than that.
So, but this is a great time to talk about it. This is why right now.
Wait, what did your buyer pay out of pocket?
He's choosing to bring a substantial down payment.
That's different. Okay,
but he will owe zero closing costs.
Right.
Zero. The only thing that he is putting his money towards is equity.
With that much of a concession, I would be surprised if he has to bring anything.
No, it will be nothing.
Obviously depends on the borrower, but I mean, for those watching, how bad of a time is it to buy a house that you can get in for free?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, what does it cost to rent? Let's go move to another rental apartment, right? That's free, right?
Yeah.
God, we got the first month's rent, we've got the last month's rent, and any other pet deposits we have to put down. Wow. Wait, you mean we can buy our own house and it's free?
That's right.
I'm telling you, this is unreal. And that rate is clearly better than the going rate right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when I moved into my home here, I had a 4%, and that was in 2019. And I'm a lender. I knew when to buy. I waited for the right times. I got a good deal, right? I mean, come on now. 5, what'd you say, 5.25?
5.5.
5.5%. That's for free house. That's not free, but I mean basically free. That's unreal.
You're going to have your down payment anyway. So what are you going to do?
Cheers.
And it wouldn't matter.
Good job. This is what a real realtor does for those watching. Good job, right?
I got a call today from a lady that saw one of my other new home construction videos. And by the way, guys, if you know anybody that's buying a damn house, would you please send them to me and Steven? I mean, for the love of God, here's the conversation that I had today. She calls and she goes, "Hey, I was working with a realtor and I was looking to buy a new house, and my realtor told me that you couldn't negotiate prices. And then I came across your video where you were talking about negotiating with new home builders, and I don't know what to do." And I was like, I mean, I didn't say it like this, but I was like, you need to fire your realtor is what you need to do, because your realtor's a moron. Because there's so much bad information out there.
Yeah,
and people aren't educated.
Yeah, unfortunately, the sad truth, when you really look into it, is that there's something along the lines. I can't remember what the number is now, but I think it was 17,000 last plus
It's
last I
more.
checked.
It was over 19 and close to 20. I know where you're
Oh
going.
my God. Okay, so we have, let's just say 15,000 to 20,000 realtors.
Yeah.
Okay, depending on what year it is. But statistically, when you look at their numbers, roughly half of them will do either 0 or 1 sale in a year.
Well, and the
Imagine.
other thing is 25% of that came online in the last 3 years when they thought money was easy or the
Oh,
job was easy.
just imagine now you're
Yeah.
going into, J. Crew, and you need to return the pants you bought last week, and you're going to run into someone who's used that cash register one time in the last 365 days. It happened to be 8.5 months ago. Okay. And now you need them to work the register. And oh, by the way, you paid with an old-fashioned check. You wrote your name out, you signed it, and you need that to be reimbursed. Right. I mean, in what profession is that something you're like, wow, I'm going to use that person? Yeah, I can't wait. Right. I mean, the reality is, we all have to start somewhere. So I don't mean to
Yeah,
put
we
anybody
do, and I was
down.
that person at one point.
Hey, we all were, right? So was I. But my Lord, it pays to use someone who knows what they're talking about.
Especially
Uh,
think about it
you know,
now, like,
you don't know
look.
what you're talking about, join a team.
Yeah,
Join a
yeah.
team.
I mean,
It's a perfectly great way to start.
honestly, the last 3 years, if you were a listing agent, you didn't have to know what the hell you were doing. Just, do whatever your team lead told you and it was gonna sell. If you were a
Yeah, it wasn't
buyer's
tough.
agent, you didn't have to really know anything. All you had to do was offer more money than anybody else, and you were gonna get the house. So the job really wasn't very difficult the last couple of years. But now all of a sudden, to be telling a buyer in this freaking market that you don't negotiate the price with a builder? What?
It's wrong.
I mean, you think about the client that I've got under contract right now.
Yeah. It's horribly wrong.
25% different.
Actually, it's uncomfortably wrong.
Oh, and by the
Um,
way,
yeah.
he wasn't even qualified to buy this house and wasn't going to even look at new construction because, Stephen, plug your ears, because he had been originally qualified with with another lender, a big box store lender, and they told him that he qualified for $250,000.
Mm,
And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's a good start. But with a new construction home, they're going to qualify you with a new construction lender. And by the way, they're incentivized to sell houses, so they're going to qualify you for more. And he's like, what are you talking about? Why aren't they all the same? Because the damn builder wants to sell houses. So now all of a sudden, instead of being qualified for 250, he's qualified for north of 325. The payment's fine with him. He's good. This dude never would have bought a house had he been with this other agent. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, there is some pre-qualification or there's pre-qualified and then there's pre-approved, and
Well,
there's some. It's a big difference.
yeah.
Pre-approved means we actually looked at your stuff, paid more attention than we probably should have, and really gave it a good thorough run through. Okay. Pre-qualified means we didn't really have to do any of that stuff, and so there are actually some web pages that you can go to and sign up to get a pre-qualification by just filling out their form and hitting print. It's I mean, I'm not joking. I've seen them. I've had clients bring them and say, well, whatever bank said I'm good to 2 million. It's okay. Well, what did you do? Well, they have a web page. You go there, you enter in what you want to shop for, and they tell you whether you're qualified or not. It's okay. Well, did you give them your social? No. Tell them how much you make? No. Okay. Stop there. I mean, the social is one thing, but we don't even know how much money you make. That's a big issue, right? We're gonna stop right there. That's not real, right? That's Fugazi. Anyway, so it is. It's just whatever, right? It drives me nuts, man. It's almost as bad as the stupid article that I saw on Friday morning that was like, yeah, I'm gonna be totally wrong. It's just what's your problem? But it is what it is. There's people out there that just aren't going to be truthful. By the way, speaking of which, there's loyalties that can be a big issue in this industry. I'm not going to pick on anybody in particular, but I will mention that quite a few veterans are very, very fond of a very particular company that
Yeah.
does insurance, among many other things. And that particular company, when I got into the industry, was almost 4 times as expensive as the other going competitor. And
It always
you know,
breaks my heart when they
for
say,
the
"Oh,
same
we're
damn
getting
insurance,
insurance through that company." And I'm like, "What are
we're,
you doing?"
dude, we're talking like, for homeowners insurance can be like what, 1,000, 2,000 a year. Let's just call it $1,000 a year for
Yeah.
the average person, right? And now we're talking that company was charging $4,000 a year for the same stuff and had one of the lowest satisfaction ratings on that department, right? Whereas they were great at other things. And had earned the loyalty in other ways, especially with grandparents and things. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, it's. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it pays to shop and to not have that preconception of one company's better than the other.
100%.
Things
And
change.
don't take my word that I'm the best damn agent in Central Texas, because there's people like I'm not going to sit here and toot my horn and say that. Like, there's people that are better than me, especially in certain situations. So I'm not even the best one. And I'm going to
No,
tell you,
but I trust you in a heartbeat,
there
man. You're a really good agent.
well, but there's
Yeah.
also locations that I'll pass a client on to somebody else because I don't know anything about the damn houses there. And
Mhm.
that's the way it should be. Like, look,
That's me with commercial loans.
if you call it well, if you call an agent in Dallas and they're like, "Yeah, I can represent you in Austin," you just need to get them off the Christmas card list. Just pass go. Do not collect
The
$200.
real
Just
estate agent, sure. The
get the
lender be fine.
yeah, lenders would be okay, but that's a different animal. But yeah, with if a realtor's like, "Oh yeah, I can represent you in Houston," and they're based out of Austin, what? No, you can't. Anyway, I get a little passionate about this, but we need to wrap it up. I'm going off on a tangent again. Um,
That's good. I like the tangents. Those are good.
anyway, guys, this is what we do. It is on Mondays we drink a little bit, and I need to start. Maybe that's why I'm so wound up, is because I had a little tall pour of that whiskey. So need to dial that back a little bit.
You just need a second whiskey, and then we need to talk about the crypto failure that happened.
Holy
You should
shit.
probably address it before you
We
leave.
we will probably talk about that briefly when we get off. But guys, look, pass this along to anybody that you know, that it doesn't even have to be in Texas. All this information is good across the country. So pass it on to people that you know that are buying houses or selling houses, because look, it's a tough world. And if you don't know what you're doing, somebody's going to take advantage of you. Let's just be honest. So that is it, my friend. We will see you next Monday. Cheers.